This is Will Stewart from OnlineChessLessons.net, and I'm going to be taking a look at a really nice game by the USA's Hikaru Nakamura over the United Kingdom's Luke McShane. And this was a last round victory by Nakamura. It propelled him into a tie for third place. The London Classic was pretty crazy. Carlsen got first place. Really amazing tournament. I think it was something like 6 wins, 3 draws for him, something like that. He gained about 14 or 15 FIDE points, pushing him to 2861 FIDE. The highest FIDE ever. He broke Kasparov's record. We'll see how he does in the 2013 World Championship, the candidate cycle. In second place, Vladimir Kramnik. I mean, this guy is a serious threat. He is, I think, second or third highest rated player in the world, somewhere around 2805, somewhere tied with Aronian, more or less for second in the world. Kramnik, he's still got it. I mean, the guy is incredible, and I think he's going to be one of my favorites for sure. Him and Carlsen would be my favorites in the 2013 candidate cycle. Okay, so tied for third. Michael Adams had a really nice tournament, a really good tournament for him. Nakamura had a solid third place finish. Definitely good to see him bounce back. He had a tough event at the Grand Prix event earlier, about a month ago. So okay, so starting off here, we open up. McShane's been playing the Slav Defense basically all tournament. It seems like he just really prepared it a lot and wanted to stick with it. Nakamura plays the early knight f3, and here it doesn't really make a difference with the setup he chooses. And so a6, so this is the specific, really kind of a pet variation now of Luke McShane, and a lot of GMs are really playing this. Gata Kamsky's been playing this for like 15 years. I don't even know how long. Kamsky's, he plays this all day if you want to check out some other games as well. Early a6, this is called the Chebenenko variation, 4a6, or also popularly known as the chameleon variation. It's a really cool line. The idea with the early a6 is that first black is kind of posturing to play b5, so white needs to react to that pretty soon. And also this move a6 is really useful in a lot of different variations of the Slav. So by playing it so early, black is really staying flexible as opposed to playing something like e6 or g6 immediately. So that's the idea. So a6 line is cool. Nakamura plays the early c5. This is the advanced variation. Definitely not a surprise to see him play this. It's definitely one of the more dynamic responses to the chameleon defense. See, knight bd7, I didn't really like this move. I mean, unless I'm mistaken, I think Kamsky usually just plays g6 directly here. The early knight d7, I don't know. It just seemed like kind of a slow move. I mean, a lot of times you actually want to try to trade this bishop off. That's kind of a popular plan. So I guess the advantage of the early knight e7 is that it kind of makes sure that white isn't going to be able to play like an early knight e5 and back it up with f4. So pushing forward, Nakamura goes with a fianchetto line. Both sides, you know, these are, I guess, pretty standard moves so far. And here Nakamura plays queen to c2. And it should be noted, McShane took a little bit of time in the opening. You know, it's once you start looking at the 2750 plus crowd, you know, everybody just plays opening so fast. I mean, they're already trying to work the opponent on the clock. Nakamura's, I mean, that's the guy makes a living, you know, putting pressure on top GMs on the clock. So yeah, McShane starts getting a little bit behind on time. Queen c2. This is an interesting move, and it took me a little bit of time to really get it. Just to give a sample variation, you know, black might already be trying to play e5. That's one thing about the advanced variation here, is that the c pawn can be really weak. And so black can try, you know, to even sack a pawn for a second. He's going to get it back. There's no way white can hold on to it. But now we're going to see the queen on c2. What I really want to illustrate is that it's potential to protect the c5 pawn when tactics open up. Let's say he plays e4. Now black's going to have to take. Say captures, and let's just say knight takes, you know, either way. And we can see that white's queen, it's like he's comes out of these complications incredibly, and his queen on c2 really helps. He's already defending the c5 pawn. You know, and here, I mean, the knight's just ready to jump in. So he's already defending the c5 pawn is huge. So we see, okay, black probably doesn't want to do that. He tries to repair this with rook e8. Now another nice move by Nakamura. Still playing very fast. Rook to d1. And so we can see he really wants to play e4 soon. Seems like a big part of his strategy. The queen is helping that. You know, if the position opens with e4 or e5, either way, you know, his rook is already aiming at black's queen. Just doesn't really have a good square. You know, this would not be good. It's not a good square. So here, I don't know. I think White's got a really comfortable game. I mean, the problem is if black tries to play like b5, White's going to take it. If queen takes, White's going to play knight a4. This is similar if black had tried to do this early in the opening as well. And basically, with the knight on a4, it's limiting black. You know, it's like black's just going to have a really bad pawn here. This pawn on c6, backwards pawn, especially if the c5 square is fixed. And we can see the queen on c2 is really well placed for this as well. I guess about the same thing. If knight takes, the c pawn is still very backwards. And it's just going to be really tough to get rid of that weakness. So black here, I think I've seen plans like h6, kind of a waiting move. Maybe trying to play g5, although usually I think just kind of a waiting move. Or knight f8. I think this is a normal plan to play the bishop to f5. And, well, maybe White is going to continue. You know, maybe we have something like this, and White tries to play f4 possibly, even e4 at some point. But we're going to see in the game maybe why those alternatives could be looked at a little more, because after e5, black gets himself in some trouble. So White captures, force capture again, and Nakamura plays a very natural move. He plays e4. So McShane by now has taken 40 minutes in the opening 13 moves. He's taken a good bit of time, and Nakamura is starting to build his classic lead on the clock. With e4, black is in a lot of trouble. It's a very difficult question. I mean, how do you defend the d5 pawn? This move a6, now it actually is kind of a weakness with a pawn on c5, as we're going to see. Knight a4 to b6 could be a promising plan for White. It's already a very difficult position for black. I mean, honestly, I don't really see too many good moves. If he just goes back, I mean, he just loses a pawn. Right? That's, just going to lose a pawn. In the game, he tried bishop g4. Basically forces White to play f3, and I brought the bishop back. And here's the kicker. I think that if f4, I think this is what McShane was counting on, f4, I think he was going to play this move, rook h5. I can't prove it, but just my suspicions. I don't really see anything else that he would think here. And the idea is really pretty cool. So pawn takes. Now he can play bishop g4. Counterattacks the rook on d1. The rook really doesn't have anywhere to go. Let's say it goes here. And now black maybe just takes the pawn back on d5. And the rook is like, I know it looks crazy, but maybe black is going to be okay, because I don't really see, with the bishop helping out any way that White's going to win the rook. So this is a really interesting idea. I think that's, I can only assume that's what he was thinking, this weird rook lift, just trying to stay in the center. Nakamura played very well. He played bishop f4. And now the rook's got to go home. I think White can win a pawn here. I don't think any tricks like bishop f5 are going to stop that. I think White would be getting away with an extra pawn. Maybe he gets to this position, and maybe Nakamura just wanted more, because, the thing about this position is, okay, White's got an extra pawn, that's awesome, but his bishop is blocked in by his own pawn here. That's significantly hurting his development, and also his king will be much weaker permanently on this diagonal. So black does have a little compensation. Instead, though, Nakamura didn't take the bait, he didn't take the pawn, he played knight a4. This is a very interesting move. Now we see that White is just threatening to win an exchange. How does black stop knight to b6? I mean, it's crazy. I mean, it's like, if takes, I think Nakamura is going to take here. And now, not only is he threatening knight b6, maybe later he's going to play e5 at the right moment. There's a lot of pressure on the d file right now. It's not really clear what black is going to do. His rook, you know, if knight b6, I mean, let's say queen here, I don't know, like, he can't even, you know, none of this is going to really work. And if the rook gets stuck on a7, I mean, it's almost like black is down a rook. That's probably not going to work out very well either. So, in the game, black played a5. I know it looks weird. I mean, he didn't want to take here because it opens up the d file for white's rook. And so, instead a5. Okay. If white pushes, black's okay. Bishop f5 soon. Instead, you know, a5, the idea with a5, it took me a minute to get this. I was like, you know, is he trying to stop him from playing b4? Why would he play a5? After knight b6, he plays rook a6. And so now he's just basically saying he's gonna sacrifice the rook. I mean, he's gonna sack the exchange. And this would solve a lot of black's problems. You know, his knight would be covering the center pawn, would probably be okay, and it wouldn't be so bad. Nakamura, instead of the greedy bishop f1, which really just, you know, makes the sacrifice look good, right? I mean, black's looking pretty good here. After d4, maybe. Maybe he just takes. I mean, imagine this. You know, the bishop maybe coming to g4. Maybe even before. Let's say bishop g4 here. I mean, just the principle here is that bishop f1 would have been kind of greedy. I mean, the rook is, where's this rook going? It's a horrible piece. And so that's why in the game, white played queen f2. This was a really nice move. So queen f2, so he just defends the knight. I think if pawn takes e4, I think the problem for black is this bishop is very, very loose here. Very loose. And might very well be lost immediately. One variation maybe that draws my eye. Could you even play bishop h6? I mean, this is like a sick move. Because I was looking at like knight takes, and then bishop h3, but then f5, right? It's not going to work quite as well. But I think you still, you know, you probably still win the knight. Okay, I just want to make the point that this is why black doesn't ever take the pawn on e4, because then the focal point changes. White starts attacking the bishop on d7 with the queen here instead of going after black's rook. So anyway, queen f2, I was impressed. This was a very nice bit of, you know, prophylaxis and good patience by Nakamura. Here, McShane, he defends d5, and now white collects his rook. I mean, the rook can go back. It can definitely do that, but it's, you know, really out of the game, and trying to play knight to d7, I mean, it almost looks like black would be losing the d5 pawn maybe a little sooner than he was hoping. Maybe like bishop c4 here. There's a lot of ideas. And the rook is still, you know, kind of out of place. So McShane, he just sacked the rook. Now d5 is very well protected. Queen e7, so maybe he's getting ready to do something with the pawn. White, nice move. The bishop was in a weird place. So this bishop e3 move, I like it. Now if pawn takes, black's going to be losing a lot of material right away. So going back, we see knight d7. A really nice move by Nakamura here. Bishop d4 instantly goes to trade queens. The thing is, both sides kind of want to maintain the tension on d5, because if he takes, after bishop takes, this bishop is an awesome piece, and it's really controlling. I mean, this is the best piece on the board. Black's got excellent compensation. So this bishop d4 move kind of makes me think, after a couple of exchanges here, Nakamura plays rook takes. He didn't play queen takes. And this was really cool, because I think if queen takes, he's trying to hold on to the pawn, and really that pawn doesn't even matter at all. This is such a weak pawn, it doesn't matter. But what does matter to white is getting all of his pieces in the game. So after rook takes, see knight takes, now b3, just trying to probably control the c4 square. Now we see rook d1. And so black, you know, he goes after the pawn, whatever, he spins those, tempo doing that, and white spins those moves, getting his rooks on the only open file. And now we can see, okay, the knight on e5 is an awesome piece. This is one of the best pieces in the game, but white does have an open file. This was very instructive technique. Nakamura, he starts with h3, so he didn't want any problems with knight to g4. Black instantly, you know, he starts planning to create some pawn weaknesses there. Bishop G2. So extremely patient by Nakamura. This guy, he doesn't get enough credit for his technique. You know, everybody thinks he's the best attacking player. He's also got incredible technique. And so here, Queen F4. So he just, you know, notice how White won the material. Now he's calmed things down. He's made a new strategy. And now, after consolidating his entire position, right, H3, Bishop G2, this is after, you know, getting the rooks on the open file, just dominating it. Now Queen F4, now White is going to start inching forward. Right? He's going to start just leaning on Black's pieces. The knight here is kind of weak. If Black plays F6, this pawn will become weak. I mean, this will be, you know, a big target for Black. All right, a big target for White, you know, if Black has to move it. So here we saw Bishop D7. I think he's trying to reroute the bishop to pressure E4. And also we'll see McShane, you know, King H2, this is nice, just chill move. There's no rush for White here. Now after C5, this is kind of a dubious plan. Nakamura with Rook, D6, very nice move. It kind of looks like he wants to play like Queen F6 or maybe Rook F6. And so here Black played A4. This is a logical plan. He's trying to at least trade off all the queenside pawns, and then, you know, down in exchange with a good knight, he can probably draw it easily. But now after Rook to D5, Black is in serious trouble. I think instead of A4, a much better move was Bishop C6. Let's go ahead and lean on the pawn, the weak pawn on E4. And, well, okay, White is going to be able to trade queens, which he might want to do here. Might just want to go ahead and trade. He can also play Rook here, and maybe he could try to attacking Black's king. It's really not a bad idea at all. Even bringing this rook up, you know, queen up, or maybe G4. It's just a very interesting idea. Bishop C6, though, the idea is he's got to control the square and also start pressuring E4. The problem for Black is that he'd really like to play, you know, maybe his knight to D4. That would be nice. And then bishop to C6. This position, A4, though, now he runs into rook to D5, and things are going to be really complicated. The E5 knight is very loose. F6 is not even possible. You could just take it. And where does the knight go? Right? I mean, the knight is loose. It's getting kind of sketchy here. In the game, McShane tried King G7. If bishop to C6, this was definitely a try. Right? Bishop C6. I mean, I was looking at some interesting tactics, sacrificing the rook to go after his king here. But it seems like after queen to G7, Black's going to be okay. So I think in this position, you know, after rook D5, I still think bishop C6 and Black's going to be kind of okay. Still not going to be that easy. You know, let's say rook here. Now maybe queen F6 is an idea. We could, let's just say we trade king here, maybe queen D2. Or even queen E3. You know, lean on this pawn. Maybe that pawn is going to be lost to me. White is up in exchange for a pawn. He's got a very good position, but this is going to be a long game. It's not going to be that easy. Going back here, instead, in the game after king to G7, here Nakamura plays queen takes E5. I think the McShane probably just calculated rook takes, queen takes, and in this position, right here, I mean, Black is actually going to be getting the exchange back, and he's going to retain an extra pawn. But the difference is now, with the tactic by Nakamura, after queen takes, Black is just going to be losing a piece. He's going to be merging down a piece. And so here McShane resigned, because after queen takes E5, rook takes, and rook takes bishop, we can see here that White's going to have an extra piece. So this was a really cool game by White. If we just want to zip through it again, just from the start, you know, the advanced variation with C5, this was pretty cool. I mean, I think this plan, more than anything, I'd have to recommend this for White against this chameleon variation of the Slav. It's a very interesting plan. It's very easy for Black to go wrong, as we see here. I mean, McShane is a very strong player, and rook to D1, there's really subtle pressure, and we can see that this position after E4 is very difficult for Black. Maybe playable, but I think it's extremely difficult. I think Black is already in some serious problems, and especially after bishop F4, this idea of knight A4, this was really instructive play by Nakamura We can kind of see it's like after black played a6, white goes c5, and he actually was able to exploit the b6 square. So an excellent game by Nakamura beating this chameleon variation of the Slav defense.